One of the things I wanted to talk to Talise or to help me with is I wanted to be influential. Okay. So if I'm still writing business, okay, great. I'm leading by example. But what conversations did I have with this new agent that influenced them to change their lives for the better, or, to learn this business here? So I slowly switched from more of, I would say, a reactive and more of like a troubleshooter or a helper into now an influential leader of like promoting and encouraging agents to write, which is really, really weird because I still have no soul, but I'm doing it.
We know. Thank you for joining this week on the Elite Sales Podcast. I'm joined in studio today, guest host Yoel Aynalem.
What's good?
My media productions guy. I also got John Bacaron, Executive Vice President of Family First Life Elite Syndicate. And then we got our new engineer. We got Sam Martinez. You want to pop in the camera real quick?
What's up, Sam? There he is.
Hey.
New staff member, part of our social media team. So if you guys get a message from him, you guys will know who's reaching out to you. But just wanted to go over a couple quick announcements.
Convention
is a week away?
Yeah, next week.
Less.
4 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
We have our special guest for today. We have new agent Natalie Licuanan. Did I say that correctly?
Licuanan.
Licuanan. I feel like I butchered every week. So
It's okay.
Now I fixed it, so I have no excuse going forward. But you're registered for convention, right, Natalie?
Yes, I'll see you guys next week.
Awesome. So we'll have her on in a little bit to share, about her success as a new agent. But she's joining us from Chicago. So wherever you guys are at, make sure you guys register. Make sure you guys find your way out there. It's going to be a great event. Register at FFLconvention.com. We also have the meet and greet. Hopefully you guys have registered ahead of time. If you guys haven't, we've already put in the reservation for Top Golf out in Doral, Florida. But if you, we're covering everything. We reserved the venue. But if you guys haven't registered yet, reach out to me directly. We'll see if we can squeeze a few people in. So
super fun. I love Top Golf. So you'll be missing out. Yeah, there's one in Portland and Hillsborough.
Do you have to golf, or no? You can just
chill. Yeah.
No, you're forced. They put a gun to your head and force everyone to go.
So just remember,
you can't eat.
Yeah.
No,
unless you golf.
Couple hours of hitting balls around. That's going to be included already. We're in food, soft drinks, beverages, all that's going to be included. So we're going to cover all of that. So
nice.
We'd love to see you guys there. Looking forward to that's Wednesday, February 2nd, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the actual convention itself is the 3rd through the 5th. Concluding with the awards night on the night of the 5th. So looking forward to seeing all of you guys there. It's going to be a great experience. We talked about that a little bit last week. First time writers, want to go over those real quick. We have Nicholas Javier, who works with Terrence.
Nice.
So great job to you, Nicholas.
Congrats.
We have our man Eduardo, who's calling out at the office, Eduardo Murillo, working with Misha and John.
Mm-hmm. Coming in hot.
Good job, Eduardo.
With some big sales starting off. So great job to you, Eduardo. And we have Crescencio Vargas working with Carlos Urizar. So great job to all you guys. First time submitting business, first time about to get paid, if not already paid. And we're changing up the format a little bit. We're not going to go over numbers specifically, but we've helped out over 815 families. Okay, wow. So far, based off of these preliminary numbers. I just want to go over the top 10. These are people that have helped a lot of families that are leading the way in terms of production. But we got at number 10 we have Casey Jarrett. We have at number 9 Marama Mariscal. At number 8 we have Brittany Smart.
Go Britt.
Number 7 we have Omar Worrell. Number 5 we have Melvin Parker. Number 5 we have Claudia Martinez. Number 3 we have Jason Kodadadian.
Jason.
I had to enunciate. That's what you told me that last
Kodak.
week. Yeah, we have at number 2, we have Evelyn Juarez, and topping off after 3 weeks in the month of January, and finishing at number 1 with 1 week to go in the monthly rankings. We have Jean-Pierre Badon, our man JP.
Okay, JP.
Great job to all you guys. If you guys want to know specific numbers, reach out to us directly. You can DM us directly at Elite FFL on our IG page, which will be here on the screen. And or you can reach out to any one of us directly if you want to know in these specific numbers. But also finishing in the top number 15, we have Natalie. I'm about to butcher the name again.
Licuanan.
Licuanan. Okay. I'm about to accent the wrong part. But yeah, we're looking forward to hearing from you in just a minute. Also, we're almost done with the month of January. I mean, we're technically on the books. We're done with the month of January, but we finished 2021. It was a big year of growth for a lot of us, and we had a hell of a ride. It was a lot of fun. We saw the progress. We saw we had our ups, we had our downs, but along the way, we just saw a lot of people growing, and part of growing was people putting other people first, and people making a commitment for themselves to change and putting work in themselves and like a lot of people experienced a lot of growth, and people that were looking to build teams, it's great to see the progress that was being made. Okay. Now, obviously this is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yep.
So whatever happened last year, I mean, it's just going to be a small blip in terms of like what we're going to do overall in our respective lives. But, every year matters, because with a year, a lot can be changed. A lot can be done. But I wanted to go over the top. We're going to have the top producer on pretty soon. We got convention coming up, but for the top manager of last year, and if you guys wanted specific numbers, you can reach out directly. But finishing at number 1, we got John Bacaron coming with the strap.
What is this?
Top manager. So this goes to John. That's heavy.
What made you get this?
I thought it was really cool. I don't know.
Thank you for the championship belt.
You got.
We gotta have him hold a. We gotta have him hold a monster
really
drink
heavy.
or some sponsorship.
I feel like I won the championships.
Okay,
Every, NFL and
I'm his coach.
NBA player have these.
But no, I just wanted to do something fun, because I mean, I feel for everybody out there that's looking to build a team. I mean, I think competition is always fun. I think it's also it's something that where teams can really get behind, and teams can really want to be part of something, want to belong to something, then they know they made a contribution. Overall, obviously, you guys have all made a contribution to FFL Elite, and I really appreciate you guys for that. And I love having you guys as business partners. But watching other people grow their team. I mean, we got Natalie and Brittany who's growing really quickly. They're coming for the strap this year. In 2022. We got Zach and Evelyn. We got Marlon
Brittany's
and Jason.
number 1 right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys out there that are just looking to really come on strong. And the thing is, out of all those guys that were listed so far, that's currently top, who knows? Someone might shoot out of nowhere and take it over. That's how quickly this business can change, because it's all about, taking the right steps, getting people to, taking the right actions that's going to help you make money and help you grow. And then the momentum that you can build along the way. Don't ever underestimate how quickly that can go, whether that's on a team level or whether it's on an individual level. Like, that's how quickly things can change for you. So with convention coming up, I feel like that's the perfect timing, because everything that you see here, everything that you hear, that you learn, you can apply it right away. If you apply it right away, you will be able to see some real tangible differences if you commit to it and if you stick to it. So, being the top manager for last year, and it's not by a huge margin. So it's great to see that competition, but not give us some of your reflections. Like, what did you do well? What did you do? Could you have done better? What's your goal for 2022?
So just like looking back from last year, you get to figure out how far and how fast did it, make a change for you. Really, ideally, convention is going to make the change for you guys. For anybody here listening, Andrew Taylor always talks about it. If you have, depending on your attendance roll call of how many agents that you're going to have to convention just changes so many people's mindsets and beliefs about themselves and where they can see themselves in the business. That's what's going to change your team. Okay. So your first perspective right now, wherever you're at, if you're a building manager, look at yourself. Who is going to be your day ones? Okay. Who is going to be your builders with you? If you're aspiring to be a manager, you're a team of 1 right now. Okay. You got to write, produce, and then also build and produce enough that you have extra income to get to a system that's going to have a hiring and recruiting platform for you. Okay. Whether, you're brand new, you're going to do just more market first, Indeed, LinkedIn, do whatever you can, but think about just your business and how you can multiply your results. So the issue with it is a lot of people sometimes they want to build, but they don't know how to train. They don't know how to do. Don't worry about that. You got uplines. You got people that's going to help you into the business. Okay. So, but you got to start thinking, okay, how do I multiply my team, my agents? And then you start just from all these conversations, these conferences, these conventions. Like I pick up a lot of things like from Trey. He talked about like hiring managers. Okay. Instead of just hiring agents. And so that's been my focus. I've been looking at like, okay, who's going to be my running mates? Who's going to build their squad? And to think into this year, it's not about me and how much direct agents I can have. It's about thinking about, okay, if I can focus, my three focus is to have 3 VPs. Okay, 3 VPs. You spread your legs, you build 150, 150, 150. That's 450 right there, plus your direct lines. That's going to get me to $1 million in production. So that's going to be the focus. Continue to build, continue to train, continue to write. You go with the flow, you learn how to write business, but knowing how to write business can create a duplicatable system for you and your agents because they're going to look up to you. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, your agents that you brought on will be lost in space. Okay. And then the conversations that I picked up, you know, meeting with Talise, I brought her on. I started seeing her like mid to late part of the year. It allowed me to really focus on into the business where I'm lacking. I figured my biggest thing was I didn't talk to my agents or downlines enough. So my conversations were to just reach out, and HCMS helped that out. If you guys don't know, just go to your HCMS. You can see your downlines, who's requesting carriers. You have a phone number, you have an email, start creating those conversations in there. Lastly, the most important thing I've learned, you guys will experience this, is chargebacks. Everyone will have a chargeback. People, downlines, agents, you will get to figure out who's writing good business, who's on the lead system, who's not on the lead system, who's doing warm market, who's having warm market fall off, and who's going to have fake business out there. So as you grow into the business, you need to catch these culprits before these downlines end up having rolling debt to you. And then it gets a little tricky, but we'll help you out along the way. So whatever questions you guys have, we'll be there for you.
So you just watch your trends. I mean, that's one thing. And ironically, you know, John said he started talking to agents more.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably part of the reason why things have kind of built up a little bit throughout the year because you didn't watch your business as closely. Because it's ironic that, you know, in a competition, he's holding the belt at the moment because he's not a very highly competitive person. He's competitive, but he's also one of those guys where if other people are doing well, he's like, oh, well, that's cool, great job. Like he's not a hater, and I think and he also John's always been a guy who's. It's odd, right? Because it's like this weird dichotomy with John.
Yes, 100%. I think I know what you're gonna say, but I
mean, there's times you're like, man, this guy doesn't have a soul, and then there's other times you're like, man, this guy's like really helpful to like people that he gets nothing to gain from. He has nothing to gain from.
Yeah, you did say what I was thinking. John's a very cold, helpful person. At the end of the day,
through that,
it's a paradox.
Like he really is. Like he'll help you with anything. He'll have your back, but also he'll like, you know, tell you you're ugly and fat at the same time, which he does to me all the time. So, you know, it's you know, he means well. Some people have a different way of communicating, you know, whether that they care or they don't care, you know. So, you know, everybody's different.
My mentality into that is I have nothing to hold back against helping you, because I am very confident in my abilities to get by or do without you.
Yeah.
Right? But also that was my biggest downfall, because I had that mindset when I was growing my business compared to, you know, last year. Well, if this agent isn't doing anything, I'm going to do well with or without you. I'm going to still write business. Mm. But then I started reflecting on that and questioning my leadership ability. And one of the things I wanted to talk to Talise or to help me with is I wanted to be influential. Okay, so if I'm still writing business, okay, great. I'm leading by example. But what conversations did I have with this new agent that influenced them to change their lives for the better, or, you know, to learn this business here? So I slowly switched from more of I would say a reactive and more of like a troubleshooter or a helper into now an influential leader of like promoting and encouraging agents to write, which is really, really weird because I still have no soul. but I'm doing it
We know.
for the better of my business. So it's a win-win situation, and it's a change I needed to do to get to where I really wanted to get to.
Well, I think like sometimes how we're raised affects, I mean, I don't want to get too deep here, but sometimes how we're raised affects how we see leadership and how we see like communication styles.
Mhm.
So like for me, my dad, he wasn't like hey, like, how was your day? Like chop it up. Like it's a very old fashioned type of, father-son relationship. Right.
Uh,
But the thing is, like certain things we didn't really communicate about, right? Because there was that wall, but the thing is, I've noticed for me, I have a similar communication style where I don't really, I'm not as cold as you, I will say, but I don't necessarily go out of my way to have conversations that aren't like solving problems, if that makes sense. So sometimes how we're raised and how we communicate is just not as, it doesn't apply to business as well as we would think, right? So I don't know.
Well, just on that note, I mean, without the performance coach, without seeing Tilly's, at some point, would you have started reaching out to your agents on your own to try to establish more of a relationship, or to see more from that, hear directly from them to see what they need help with?
Well, I feel like, eventually, not to take any discredit from Talise, eventually I will figure it out. But the purpose of a performance coach is to shine that light faster. Right.
So it sped it up for you.
Right. It sped it up for me because I knew the reason why I seeked her help was, okay, this is where I'm at in the business. I know I'm trending a flat line. Okay. Now, will it take me a little bit longer to figure it out on my own, or can I get some help now? So that's all it is. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like it.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun watching everyone. And that's also the thing for all the people that are up near the top, competing for the top agency, couldn't have more different people.
Yeah.
In terms of personality, in terms of how they approach their agency. So, when you guys are building a team, or you're looking to, build out your specific agency, like what's more important, this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
The answer is, I don't know.
Yeah. Cause it's funny because some people have the opposite problem with him, right? Like they're like not worried about themselves, not writing their own business, and overly like coddling some agents. I'm sure. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's just like assessing what's right for you and being able to like recognize that and applying it, I think is like super cool. And it's cool that you did that. It was dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's also another cool, great thing about FFL in general. I mean, like if you're part of the FFL Elite family, the thing is you still have your own identity. You still have your own characteristics within your specific team. So the thing is, it's still your baby, so just because we embody certain, values or culture, whatever it may be, I mean, doesn't mean that there's going to be little sub cultures or sub agencies within it. And, that's really neat to see, because everything, that's the challenge, to see how we can blend this all in together, and how we can help as many people grow, many people that want to buy in, that want to be part of this. How do we find a way to make it all work as harmoniously as possible?
Yeah. And more importantly too, like, when you're running your business, you're thinking from your own perspective. It's good to have a performance coach like Talise, or even just having a conversation with someone in your team to figure out, okay, where do you have a biased opinion versus is this the perfect business sense? Like, for example, like there's so many egos and personalities into the business. Sometimes your ego will overstep just to, we call it petty, right? Just to be petty sometimes. And sometimes that's not beneficial to your business. So you got to be,
there's no benefit to your business.
Yeah. So you learn that. And while you're growing, like maybe you have a strict kind of like self-rule on how you want to run your business, and it may not grow well for you. Having that second person, having a conversation with that will help you in your business. So things will change for you. That's the beautiful part about this convention. You'll see so many personalities. You get to figure out, okay, I kind of appeal to him. I'm going to copy his methods.
Well, thank you for sharing, and congratulations once again for being top manager 2021.
She'll probably like it. I
don't think she can even carry it.
I'll beat her with it. Just kidding.
But yeah, I mean, looking forward to seeing who's coming for the strap next year, for this year. I know there's a lot of worthy candidates and a lot of people just really killing it out there.
So this is going to be an ongoing new yearly
Yeah,
thing?
why not?
Should we take away this one?
No.
Dang it! I kind of wanted to
That's
take it away.
2021 though.
Oh, okay.
You've earned
Let
it
me
for the year.
I just don't like John. No, I'm just
He
kidding.
just wants to take things away.
Yeah, I do.
All right. But
Thank you.
that's kind of cool. Before we get to Natalie, actually, I want to bring up one other thing that I was reading about and I started listening to on a podcast. And this is actually, we have Natalie coming on. That's actually made me think about her. But you know, this is, and it's going to sound like a weird topic, so don't take the first word. But it's like toxic positivity was what they were talking about, right? So toxic positivity, and I actually was having this conversation with John and Yoel a few weeks ago, a little bit, and we started kind of getting into it. Mm-hmm. But you know, it seems like kind of a weird concept to be toxically positive, you know, because positivity generally is regarded as a good, you know, characteristic or a good, you know,
a positive one.
Yeah, ironically.
I know, right?
But you know, the people that are overly positive is what bothers some people. It gets really under their skin. And I thought about Natalie because I remember from the first time I started talking to her, you know, when she was joining the company, Brittany hired her, and then she was going through her pre-licensing and getting her license and all that stuff. You know, she had this really positive attitude that I was just kind of like, I was like, this is awesome. Like, I love like, you know, being around people like this, talking to people like this, because it generally brings my vibe up. Right.
Right.
Like I like to think I'm generally pretty positive. You know, I'm human after all, but I mean, for the most part, you know, I don't, the alternative sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I try to be as positive as possible, but then when you're around other people, but then when it comes to toxic positivity, sometimes people that maybe aren't as positive and, you know, want to be surrounded with negativity because I don't know if they're trying to rationalize how they feel about themselves or what's going on in their situation.
Company, man.
So like when other positive people start coming around, then, you know, for a lot of people, it feels toxic to them.
Yeah.
So with toxic positive, and they're talking about to the extreme of someone that's overly positive all the time. And, you know, I was like, how could that even be? But the things that they were talking about when people are considered to be toxic positivity or have toxic positivity, it's construed as weakness. Mm. Okay. Because the thing is, if you're so positive, like you're allowing vulnerabilities to come into your life. Mm-hmm. They think it's like a sign of naivete. Mm-hmm. Did I say that?
Naivety, yeah.
Well, you're naive, right?
Yeah.
Naivete. I'm butchering words and names all today. Yeah, people also see if you're like overly positive all the time that you're insincere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Or you lack empathy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, there's funny stories. Actually, I actually went through this. Our buddy John Franklin at my old company. We used to go to like 4-hour, 5-hour lunches.
Yeah,
it wasn't productive. We ended up drinking beers, and we ended up just like staying out much longer than we needed to. And there was a guy that would come in and set up in the afternoons. It was like a 50s diner style place, and he would come in and he'd always be like super cheerful and happy. And then he would start, he'd get on the mic and start singing. He'd start like bringing the mic over to us and trying to get us to sing with him. And then like we're just like, why is this guy always so happy, right? Like it's so annoying. And and then it came to the point where it was just like a really quiet day, and he came over and like no mic or anything. He just started talking to us, and then we're like, I have a question. Are you really this happy all the time? And he's like, yeah, life's good. Like, why would I not be this happy? And then I don't know, maybe I was just being a jerk, and I was like, yeah, because we always thought you were full of crap. we didn't think you were actually this positive all the time. Like we thought this was like a performance, so this is a show. Like you're just trying to put on this persona when it's not actually the case. But then he's like, no, he's not. And then I don't know. I mean, obviously, maybe he could have been defensive about it, but he's had a genuine smile this whole time. And then looking back and all that, the fact that we were spending that much time at lunch and spending that much time not working, it's probably because I now recognize, it's not because I had a drinking problem or anything. It's just because I wasn't happy where I was at.
Yeah.
Like at our last opportunity, like it just wasn't a good fit. And I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing terribly, but I wasn't doing as good as I could be. Like I didn't feel any fulfillment, through that. So, I was fighting distractions. Part of the distraction was doing anything but working. Yeah. Just finding, just going out and having some drinks that I didn't need to was very unproductive in retrospect, like time I can't get back.
Escapism.
Yeah. But I mean, at the time, it felt like a great time because I was hanging out with my buddies and we were talking. But but that type of negativity that I was having within myself and the things that I was dealing with, I spilled over for me to like say that to this like super happy guy, and he was just trying to do his best. And I like, he didn't take any offense to it, so I'm glad. And actually, like I've seen him a few times, and he's still super cool. But I think that's the thing. Like oftentimes it's a reflection of how we feel about ourselves or how we feel about our situation. So I bring that up because Natalie, you've always been a very positive person from the times I've talked to you and your entire experience here so far. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I am a very positive person, but the way you look at things in life is really kind of a result of everything that you've gone through in life. So you can either have some struggles and then move forward positively or be negative about it. But yes, going into this, I had to be very, very positive just because I was looking for, a better situation for me and my family. Not that we were in a horrible one, but I've always been looking for ways to kind of improve the situation. I've never been really a believer of settling and just saying, oh, I went to school to be a nurse and I'm just going to be a nurse for the rest of my life. I've always looked for more ways to be able to increase my income or just figure things out so that I can, have a better situation for my family. I'm married and I have 2 little girls. So, so going into something very new with no experience, the main thing that you could really have that you can really hold yourself accountable for is being positive. And then just jumping in and doing what you're told, follow the instruction. Don't change anything. If people are telling you, oh, do this, do that, and do this, it's very simple, then you go out and do it, right? And then if I don't do it, then I become, then I could become negative about it, but that's really on me. So really going into something new, you have to be positive about it and be motivated and want to really do the work because nothing comes easy, right? But it starts with being positive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, thanks for the short intro. I mean, you came from nursing, which for a lot of people, that's a great job. It's a great career opportunity. It pays well, but what made you decide to like change careers and get into something different like this?
So, I've had a bit of a past, like with my jobs. I've always felt like, okay, nursing is the way to go. It's very, very stable. However, I was put in a position years ago where my 10-year-old daughter, she was just very, very sick when she was born. So she was in the hospital for 6 months. She had multiple surgeries on her intestines. She was not in the best health, and we almost lost her. So fast forward, as a result of her multiple surgeries and multiple blood transfusions, she now has hearing loss that she wasn't born with. And so my family and we were put in a position where they said she needs hearing aids. So at that time, we didn't have, the $5,000 or $8,000 that we needed. So I went out and I looked for ways to make money online and things like that. So this was a few years ago, and it took me over to, e-commerce. So I also work in e-commerce in the Amazon space, but I just couldn't stop there because now I'm like, how I was able to be a nurse and then find e-commerce. What else is out there to maybe up my game, put myself in even a better position to where I don't have to work all these different jobs. And so that's what brought me over to Family First, because I was still, even though we were in a good position, I still knew there was something out there and something that I was destined to do to put myself in a better position.
How long have you been an agent, and how did you get to meet Brittany?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I bought my first leads November 17. I got my license October 31st. So just prior to that, I reached out to Brittany because of I didn't find Brittany right away, but I heard about Family First on TikTok, and then I, like everybody else, and I started, I went down this rabbit hole for a few weeks, researching, stalking everyone Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. I, was just trying to figure out, okay, I'm sold on this. Now, who can I talk to put me in the best position to start off? And so it's not that I even reached out to Brittany because I saw any numbers, because many agents were out there putting numbers and, the TikToks and things like that. It was just one TikTok that I saw that somebody else has posted, and she was just Brittany was just doing a role play where we're ring, hi,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. And she, yeah.
Did it, Brittany? It worked.
Yeah,
I recorded it.
Shout out to Britt.
Brittany, it was Brittany, me, and then Laura, I think, was in it. Yeah.
Right. And it was just very simple. It was to the point. I resonated with her. She resonated with me just from that, because she was just like beast mode, and that's kind of who, like you said, at convention, we're going to meet many different people with many different personalities. And it just really depends on how you can fit, right, personalities. So just from that TikTok, and even seeing for weeks everyone else's TikToks and IGs with their numbers and their sales, Brittany didn't have any numbers put out. However, it was her that I was like, that's her, so. And I'm a very logical person. Like, even though I saw these numbers, it still didn't make sense in my mind. I still wasn't 100% sold. So I had to really be sold on it, and then think, okay, well, let me look into this now. Am I going to just sit here and watch these numbers for the next few months, or am I going to take action and reach out to some of these people, So it was Brittany who I reached out to, and right away she was like, nice to meet you. Do you have your license? I said, no. And she's like, here's the, go take your course. I said, okay. And then I got my license. I passed like 2 weeks later.
That's really awesome.
Cool. Great.
Yes, I mean, Brittany's obviously a beast. She's a Hall of Fame producer. She works really hard. She's growing a team too. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of reasons why you would be attracted to someone like that. Okay, but I'm just out of curiosity, did her being a female have any additional appeal to you? I mean, was that like more relatable, or did it not make a difference?
It didn't. It was just, I mean, and she doesn't have, like, at that time, she doesn't have any TikToks, and, so it was just, for some reason, I just, when I was doing my research, stalking everyone, that video came up, and I'm pretty sure I watched a whole bunch of your other TikToks too, but it was that when I was like, who is she? Let me find her. And then I had to find her on IG. So I did the actual work to really research her and find her, but it wasn't, maybe it could have been because she was a female, because I want to be like a boss lady like her, but at the time I didn't even know what she was doing or what her numbers were. Right. So it was just that I don't know, for some reason it was just her, and she was just like, ring, hey, is this person? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's get this done.
This is like actually perfect timing, like
Social
from our
magic,
conversation,
man.
Because like right now, moving forward, we're removing like any sort of numbers. I mean, I don't know how much we're allowed to talk about.
Yeah,
this.
we're moving in a different direction now. I mean, we're not going to focus so much on the numbers. Instead, we're going to focus more on how many families that we're able to help. Practical things like Brittany was going over specific things about this business that attracted Natalie, that allowed her to see that this is real and this is something that's so. Yeah, it's perfect timing.
And I think like what we've really, even before this legal change, like we really want to focus on what the job is. We're big on obviously opening the doors, highlighting agents, stuff like that. But for me, I wasn't like super interested in numbers. Spotlights are cool. They're, we need it. It's good to keep track of that stuff. But for me, I think it's super important for people to just highlight themselves, get people to recognize who you are and put stuff out there so that people know who you are. And then maybe they resonate with you some way. It's not logical. Okay. It's not the number. It's just seeing someone and being like, oh, this guy seems cool. This girl this girl seems nice. Whatever, just putting stuff out there so people have an idea of who you are. And it's free. Social media is free. You just record some, doesn't have to be great quality, put it up. Guys, people are watching, just because they don't like it, people are watching. There's ghost followers are the norm. they're the norm.
Yeah.
Like people are watching and not liking, not commenting because it's like
I'm
weird.
a lurker. I'm definitely a lurker.
You're the
Sure.
norm.
It's
So
true though, because like there's so many, like if you guys are on social media, how many times do you swipe up before you like something, right?
Oh yeah.
Like at least 20.
yeah.
So there are a lot of people watching. So shout out to Brittany and Yoel with the
Laura.
Great job,
Laura
guys.
with the social media
Yeah.
post. Things work. Keep posting, guys.
And thanks for anyone that's, contributing, at all. If you keep doing it, keep being consistent, it doesn't have to take up your whole day, but the results will show if you stick with it. Like you'll be very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, not that gender or sex makes any difference in this business. I just asking because I was just curious because John is kind of right. I mean, like sometimes we just see people and then certain people just like stand out a little bit more. Like you either identify with them because you're like, hey, this person's kind of similar to like how my personality is, or they look like me, or they talk like me, or something. Or you're like, I'm way better than this person. Like if this person can do it, I can do it. So it doesn't make any sense. Like everyone looks for different things. I mean, I was just curious as to
Right. And it's just weird because now that Brittany and I have gotten to really know each other, we are very, very similar.
Uh-huh.
So it was meant to be, I guess.
You guys have the same vibrations and frequencies, huh?
Yeah.
The universe is talking.
Well, going back to that, I mean, obviously you've gotten some really good results starting off in your first, 2 months, I think, right, of running business.
Yeah.
And then, Brittany's obviously been a huge support and a huge, help in training and getting you going.
Yes.
So, what's that relationship like, and how does she set you up for success?
So she, she's Brittany. She's right to the point. She just says, what are you looking for? In this business, what are your goals? And then she helped me with my lead flow. She walked me through a lot of the different products and what would be best for different types of people. She was very patient with me, but also she was very motivating. Especially in the beginning, I was doing a lot of like the normal thing, like before my first dial day, I had my leads and I'm like, the desk shuffling and like, hold on, let me make sure I organize myself before I start dialing, that anxiety before. She was able to kind of walk me through that and just, it's going to be okay. Just do the work, just do what I tell you. And then you're going to see the results. It's really, really that simple. And even that first week I was doing well. And so now I knew it. The business works. Just it's simple. Like everybody says, there's like 3 steps. You buy leads, you dial them, and then you close them. And like, as long as your upline, like Brittany was very accommodating to me, but also she was very, I don't want to say she put the pressure on, but she was just like, you have your leads, so dial them. Okay. So, and pretty much holding me accountable. And it's true, with everything in life, you have to really work at it and hold yourself accountable. Like and that's the way this business is. You work a lot, then you're going to do well. If you don't work, then what, so that's really on you, or on us as business owners or with this business. So she really walked me through a lot of things, and pretty much, let me do my thing. And that's just how it really should be. Your upline and your managers can only tell you so much and the instruction, but then you have to really take it upon yourself to do it and do everything you can to succeed, because you have to look at your why, and what is motivating you. You can't blame blame the leads, because like everybody says, all leads, they really, really do work. And I've tried all of them, and Brittany has told me, she does a lot of, she does mortgage leads. Many people do the internet leads. I wanted to prove it to myself, which would work the best. So I've done both of them. So,
And they both work for you?
Yeah, they both work for me, honestly. And some people like certain leads more, even though they, both work. Some might like the internet leads better. Others might like the mortgage leads better. So it just really depends on your preference, but they all do work.
Yeah.
So this is the real question now, the earlier conversation. Talk about what FFL has done for you now, especially with this the heat story.
Oh, the heating. Oh my God. Okay.
Chicago.
So yeah, it's like -6 degrees here in Chicago. And you know, everybody's heat is just like going crazy or not working. And our heat, my husband noticed that it wasn't like turning on when it should have. So so my husband called the heating person this morning, and then they came out, and this was when I was like wrapping up, I was like closing a client, and they came, and I was like, okay, yeah, like how much it's probably just needs to be repaired. We just moved into this home like 3 years ago. And so after my call, my husband's like, all right, you got to talk to this guy because it doesn't look good. So the furnace or whatever that thing is, it's all messed up, and it's pretty much at the end of its life. And same thing with the air conditioning as well, that sits on top of it, I guess. So I mean, the bottom line is that it's to replace everything.
Wait, how much?
Your whole HVAC unit, basically.
Yeah. So it's at the end of its life at 15 years old now. And they said that I can just do the heating part. And then in, you know, like summertime or in the future, I can do the air conditioning. But then when condensation hits, then it'll drip onto the new furnace, and then the warranties are done. I don't know, all that other stuff, but whatever. So, I mean, they said if we fixed it, it would still be like, so, but that's just putting a Band-Aid on, because next year the same thing might happen, and then I'm spending another $6,000. So pretty much like the guy was like, it's going to be, you know, what do you want to do? And, you know, the funny thing is, he was like, I'll give you 3 options. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, I know this tactic too. And then he goes, you know, I'm just a middle person. I'm not the one, you know, it's up to you if you want your family to continue breathing carbon monoxide, whatever he was saying. And I'm like, I already know what you're
preaching
doing.
to the choir, bro.
They gave you the field underwriter sales.
Right. He was literally like answering quote unquote my objections, even though I wasn't even saying anything. I was just listening to him. He was already trying to address my objections before I even said anything. So
He's assuming the objections.
You got to
He wasn't
hire this
addressing
guy.
it. He's assuming the objections.
yeah, Brittany's like, you need to hire him. Show him like your 2 months of bank statements.
Nice.
No, but I didn't talk to him about it, but pretty much after he told me that, I was like, let me just kind of log into my bank account and let me just see
about it.
Let me see what my money looks like. And he was just like, do you really want to think about it? I mean, I'm just a middle person here. It's up to you if you want to protect your family about this. And I'm like, just let
Good
me.
hard close right there.
You can cancel at any time. Like
It was definitely a hard close, because that's why I was like, so then, you know, I looked at my money and whatever, but I thought as I logged into my bank account, I literally was like, if I did not have FFL, I wouldn't have been able to pay for this.
Right.
Like, it may have really put me, you know, like obviously taken a lot of my money, but if I didn't jump in November or started to look into this in October, then I would have been in a more worse off position trying to replace this thing.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, so it really opened my eyes, like, and that's why Brittany was saying that, because it just happened like an hour ago. So I was talking to her about it. And so I told her, I'm like, yeah, I just need to increase my lead spend and my lead flow so I can make this money back double, right?
So with your positivity and your ability now with FFL, like from your confidence level, how fast can you replace that HVAC unit as far as the income that you spent on it? How fast do you think you can recover it?
I mean, if I have no idea. I don't know, a month less.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's all possible.
A week?
Have enough activity.
A week, if I really like hit it hard and I buy like more leads, like it's literally anything is possible. And that's what it really, really clicked before I got on this call, when I was like, holy crap, like this thing's, let me look at my bank accounts and see what I can work with. But I visually saw the money in there, but if I didn't have FFL, I wouldn't be able to see that money in there.
Right. That's
dope.
That's awesome. I mean, because we were just talking about when you were a nurse. I mean, nurses make good money, but the thing is, you're still, I mean, you can get some overtime, you can get some extra hours, but for the most part, you're still in kind of fixed income.
Yeah.
So the thing is,
fixed income. And I was before, so I left my last nursing job in November. I just called Brittany up. I was like, oh, so, I'm going to buy these leads and these leads. By the way, I just left my nursing job. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go all in, And so with the nursing job, it was from home, but they were like, Natalie, you took a 16-minute break instead of a 15-minute break. And I'm like,
sheesh.
Really? Yeah. And like, I got written up because, they heard my little girl in the background for like, make a little peep. And so and then everything was just timed and I didn't like that. So, nursing is very stable. But nursing is also very fulfilling. However, if I could put the same amount of effort and care into FFL, then I work for myself. I can take a 16-minute break without getting in trouble. And I can still pick up my girls from school. I can still cook, it's just very flexible.
How many policies did you sell? How many families did you help before you quit your job?
Well, so I quit my job and then that's when I went into contracting.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you hadn't even started at that point.
Jump.
Wow.
Natalie believed in herself.
That's true.
Yeah.
That
I
is
was
not
like
toxic positivity. That is great positivity.
Yeah. I just said, I already took the exam. I have my license. Like there's no turning back. I'm just going to do it. And if I don't put my all into this, I'm just going to be half-assed, right? And that's not what I want. I want to give everything my all 100% if I want this to work. And it's been great so far. I mean, there's the mental, obviously, that I've had to work through, but that just comes with the territory, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, I mean, speaking of, you get a chance to balance everything out, pick up your girls. I mean, has this been better for your work-life balance to be able to make the money you need to make, plus be able to balance out the two?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've made more money. Like it's just insane the amount that I have made and the families that I've protected compared to nursing. And it's there's anxiety that comes with it, but not the same type of anxiety that I had with the nursing, because along with the nursing was, my timing and clocking in and out and, just like that type of thing. And I was still working for other people. I don't like it. I mean, even in the e-commerce world, I help run this business for, these 20-year-olds. And I'm like, they're making tons and tons of money, but it's me running the business and I don't like that anymore. I want to be paid for the work that I put in. And even like in e-commerce and even my nursing job, my managers have said, they put me in charge of training and things like that. So I know that I'm a good worker, but it's time for me now. It's time for me to just really jump in and not hide behind anybody anymore, because that's pretty much all I've done throughout my whole career. I've always like hidden behind like, the higher ups or, something or someone like that, because I didn't have enough confidence. And even now I don't have tons of confidence. Even being on this call makes me nervous, but I'm getting there, and Brittany is so good with, motivating me and telling me it's going to be okay. You're just going to work and do what you're supposed to be doing. And then it pays off. And that's how simple it is.
Right. Well, being that, so I just want to put this out there. I mean, obviously going from nursing to this and, she's getting paid more. It's not because she's working less or it's necessarily easier. You still got to put in the work. I mean, Natalie's obviously putting in the work. And, the thing is she feels like she shouldn't need to hide behind anyone anymore. And that couldn't be more evident, because you're putting yourself out there on Front Street, just getting on these Zoom dials, and you're just on there. You guys are posting it. People can get on. People can watch you guys dial. I mean, you and Brittany are like leading that along with the rest of the group. I mean, so that's something that was that uncomfortable for you initially for you to do that?
100%. It's I don't know. I used to be a social butterfly, but now that I'm older, like I'm so scared of people these days. And so, it was very, very hard for me, even when I went on live dials, but I knew that I needed to get on the live dial so that I can learn. And so I can put myself in the best position to learn. Because if I wasn't, then I was just sitting at home and I'm like, oh, just like kind of just sitting here trying to work by myself. But I knew that I needed to surround myself, if not in an office with anybody, but on live dials. So I do remember when I jumped on live dials, I didn't have my camera on. I would mute myself. I would still dial, but it was the people on the Zoom were like, Natalie, can you please unmute yourself? And I'm like, why? I'm still new. And they just said, so we can help you. We will help you. Unmute yourself right now. And I'm like, okay. I did. And it really pushed me to not just work the call, but really to try to prove myself in front of all these people that are looking at me on Zoom, because I don't want to bomb, but I also don't want to, but I want to learn. But then now I'm talking in front of all these people. I'm stuttering all over the place, but it made me, they threw me into the lion's den. And that's pretty much how I work. How I work best is if I'm thrown into the lion's den and someone puts pressure on me, and then I'll just go and get the work done. And I did that pretty much from the beginning. So
that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what's your work schedule like?
Who's that?
It's one of her daughters right there.
This is Zia.
She's quite the personality from
Oh yes, you see her on IG all the time. She's very wild. She's a little wild little girl.
So
yes.
So what does your work schedule consist of? For you to be able to get to this point for a new agent, if they're starting off, like what should they be expecting if they want to be able to help this many families?
Yeah. So when I started off, I wasn't really sure because I was like, okay, I left my nursing job. So am I going to do this full time? Am I just going to try it out? So I started out part-time, working, like 3 or 4 days a week dialing. And I was still trying to figure things out. I was very scattered with my schedule. I was confused about like all that stuff. And then, my first week in, when I started closing and making sales, then I said, okay, I just proved all of this to myself. Like the numbers are there. I literally just did it. And so let me just go in full time. So by my second week, I just said, okay, I'm just going to be full time. So I am on 7 days a week. I'm dialing 7 days a week. I do mostly telesales, but I also go in home if they would like me to. So yesterday I went and I protected a family in the home. But 7 days a week, I put in at least, 8 hours a day scattered throughout the day so that I can still go grocery shopping at some point, right in the middle of the day. And then I hop back onto live dials, and then I close more. And then I go and, pick up my girls from school or do whatever I need to do. And then I hop back on. So this business is always, always going for me. And so that's my schedule, 7 days a week, but I also make it a point to kind of have my time with my family, like on Saturday nights. Albert, you see like my stories, we have scary movie nights, Saturday nights, and we, order food and stuff because in this business, it's very important. It's hard to separate personal life from business. And that's what I struggled with as well, because I was used to doing the 9 to 5 and then, taking my mind off
and then shutting off, right?
And shutting off, yes. But then now, because I'm so focused on this, I'm like, how many more families can I help? Even if it's 8 o'clock at night, I'll be running appointments or dialing or anything. So it's always on my mind, and it's work. It's hard work, but it's more fulfilling, let's just say, even though it's 7 days a week.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, that's, isn't it going to be really cool? I mean, the way that you found us and you found Brittany, and because you saw something that appealed to you. I mean, isn't it going to be a weird story? Because and this will happen. Someone's be watching this, and then they're going to be listening to your story, and they're going to be like, "Huh, I want to go work with that Natalie girl."
Yeah. That would be so crazy to me. I mean, I don't know, just because, like I said, that in the beginning, I was stalking everyone's IG. So I already knew, like, even when I got it started into this business and I would see, everyone or whatever, I knew who they were right away because I already knew them from IG or TikTok and stuff. So it would just be so crazy, especially because I'm still within like my 90 days that I'm even on this call. Cause I don't feel like I'm anyone special, to be honest. I'm still working my way through the business and figuring things out and trying to organize myself. So it's just, even me being here is crazy to me on this Zoom. But I'm just going to keep working harder and harder. And if someone wants to work with me, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. Well, I don't see why they wouldn't want to, just with this positive, disposition that you always seem to carry around, and, your immediate success. And, I for everyone that's out there, I mean, obviously your results will vary based off of all the decisions that you make, how much you run this like a business, how much work you put into this, and also like what type of attitude you take, as you're taking each step of these actions along the way. So,
and I will say, as like a new agent, like I said, you're going to be told the instructions on what to do, but it's really up to you to still continue to grow and use all of the different resources inside of FFL, right? Because this is your own business. So you have to constantly plug in and just, not just sit on the live dials, but like watch the podcasts and things like that. Cause you'll always pick up little tidbits here and there that will help you, even if it's like a little word track in your calls. So it's always important to always grow. And I've always had that mindset. You have to just keep growing and growing. Growing never stops mentally. And so you just have to really have that mindset and to just continue to grow. Like, you can't just stay like, okay, I already made this amount of money, or I helped this many families for this month, let me just chill out. No, you have to just keep going and going so that you can really get the 100% resources and education that FFL offers.
Right. So one last thing before we let you go, I mean, since you were able to stalk these people on social media, and you're able to, learn more about the business. And so for the people that are not posting, the people that aren't sharing about this opportunity, what would be your advice to them?
I would say 100% just post and share the opportunity, because you will really, you are giving other people a chance to make a better life for themselves. Now, there may be some people who won't do all of the work, but then there's going to be some people who really, really need your help and to help improve their lives. They just need that push. They just need that stepping stone. They just need someone to believe in them, to really just take the leap to get into FFL. So even if it's like one post a day, you will reach somebody, and that one someone you can not only change that someone's lives, but they can also change your life as well. Like, I will say that Brittany and I have formed a really, really great friendship. And, I couldn't be more grateful. And, and that's why I'm like, this really happened for a reason, because I didn't know how many families she was helping on TikTok, none of that was put out for her, or, I had no idea. But out of the hundreds of videos that I saw with numbers and bank statements and all this stuff on TikTok and IG and Facebook, she was the one that I resonated with. And now we've built like this great working relationship and friendship. So, and she has changed my life. So for those of you who aren't really posting or don't really think like that's even a thing, or that you won't be able to help somebody, you really, really can help someone. And even if it's just that one person, because I'm in such a better place now than I felt like I was even just in October when I was stalking everybody.
Yeah. And I will say, like, it's just, we know a lot of nurses, right? They make good money, going back to what Albert was saying. And for me, I don't know why, like, even from a marketing mind, I was just like, nurses, they're okay. They're probably all happy. They're probably all good with the money they're making. They're probably passionate about their career. I'm sure there's a ton of nurses out there that would love to make more money. Like, you telling your story right now is like so important. Even, I'm sure you've seen other videos and people telling their story, but this is going to be super powerful for people. We're going to clip it up and send it to you to, repost and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. Like, this is like, I'm even like learning so much, because in my mind, I'm like a nurse, no prior sales experience, going to all this school, and now she's, killing it in sales. It's just a great story. And, we're honored to have you.
Thank you. Yeah. And like, to the point about the nurses, there's so many nurses who are working like 3 12-hour shifts a week, and then they go and get other nursing jobs to make more money, so there are those nurses out there who still have a lot of time on their hands that can really get into this and not be so drained, because those 12-hour shifts are killer. They're mentally and physically exhausting. And then you come home thinking, okay, who was I exposed to today? And now I'm coming home to my children. And am I exposing my children to anything? Especially with the pandemic in this day and age. First of all, I'm scared of people now, obviously. So I don't know how I'm going to be in convention around 15,000 people. So I excuse my awkwardness when I see you. But now, like, the nurses are like, we make good money, but how can I do this? How can I have a career from home?
Yeah,
and the nurses are being completely drained now. They're exhausted. They're mad, so this could be really a turning point, and then they can do it from home or do it in home. It's really good if they have families. I have 2 children. So a lot of people out there who feel like, I don't have the time, you will make the time if you really, really want it bad enough. Like, you have to just make it work. If you have a family, if you have a mortgage, you just do it, you suck it up, and then you do the work, and you'll figure out a way.
Yeah. Like, nurses, people in the medical, we need more people in the medical field. We're not saying let's take all the nurses, all the people, so no one's there to treat anybody. That's not what we're saying. But like, I have a cousin, he lives in the Riverside, and I was like, hey man, like, I have, a free weekend, like, let me go up there, like, let me hang out, you and the kids, it'll be cool. He's like, dude, like, I'm picking up extra shifts. Like, there's a lot of demand. Like, we're getting paid well too. Like, I don't have time for you to come over. Like, his wife works she's a social worker. It's just like, dude, they're getting worked to death. Especially right now.
I can speak from experience. My mom's a nurse. All my sisters are nurses.
All Filipinos are nurses.
Yeah, it's the number one career opportunity for females. But yeah, my mom, so she's ready to retire. She's 60. She got about a year or 2 years. And, you come in, the Filipino mindset is like, okay, let's go nursing. It's secure. You get 3 days out of the week to work. You plug in your 12 hours, you get 4 days off. If you mix that to the next week, you can do the extra 3 days off, and then you work the next 3 days later. So you can get like 7 days off. You can go on vacation. But now, because of the pandemic, it's a scary thing. She's thinking, I'm ready to retire. I might go catch this pandemic COVID and take me out. Yeah. So she talks to her friends. They have their own group chat. So whenever someone has tested positive or someone has COVID patients, she calls off. She's like, I'm on salary.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like the thing about it too is like, my parents are I'm Filipino, obviously. And so my dad was always like, as an immigrant, he's like, you work in the United States, just work, stay quiet, keep your head down, just stay a nurse, and then you'll be fine. But then now, and as children, we always want to make sure that we make our parents happy, and we don't want to disappoint them. We want to make them proud. But then now I just kind of told him a little bit about this, and he's like, honey, with this day and age, you don't have to be a nurse anymore. Like, you have my blessing to go spread your wings. Like, it's obvious you could do whatever you want. When you put your mind to it, then you can go and do it. And, as for a father telling me this, saying, you don't need to be a nurse, I'm like, oh crap. Wow. Like, okay. Yeah. And that's right. A Filipino father saying
breaking your cultural bonds.
Yeah. So he's like, you can do whatever you want. You have my blessing, and I trust it now. I'm 43, but when I was like 30, he's just like, be a nurse, so, I mean, yeah. And so it's really, this business is really, really, really life-changing. It doesn't even matter how old you are. And it's, I don't know, I'm just really excited for even conference and what I can learn from there. And I don't know, maybe I'll have that Hall of Fame jacket by the end of the year.
Ooh, I
Take,
like
take
it.
the maybe out.
Yeah, I
Take
don't
the
like
maybe
that
out.
maybe.
You got that positivity in you.
Brittany's already committed for you, so you're
Yes, she has. She tells me every single day that she has committed this for me. So
That's good.
Everyone on this call is expecting it now. So
Yeah. Well, to go into your work schedule, you're plugging in 7 days, putting in the hours, only here for 2 months. So imagine the skill that you're gonna gain from convention, the abilities, the space repetition. You keep plugging in time with it. You're figuring out the different leads. It's bound to happen. Yeah. So we'll see you there.
Yep. Looking forward to it. And, really, really appreciate you coming on. And, just to kind of bring this like full circle, we're talking about toxic positivity and, with all the impact that, the people that Natalie was able to see on social media, namely Brittany, for that positivity that she was able to see, that's what really attracted her. And then, she gave us all the advice that we need to go out there and share and spread this positivity too. So when it came to that toxic positivity thing, the thing is, we look at it as a bad thing for other people to be too positive, and it makes us feel bad about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, when we're not sharing, if we're not going out there posting and sharing this opportunity with other people, the thing is, we're actually afraid of us being coming off as being toxically positive, because they're going to think we're not genuine about it, or we're nervous about how people are going to perceive it. But if you really truly are positive about your situation and what you got and what you have to offer to other people, it's all right. It's incumbent upon us to actually go out there and just do it. So if you guys have anything positive to share, I mean, the world's got more than enough negativity in it already. So if you guys have any positivity, go out there, forget all this toxic talk, just go out there and just do it. Just be like Natalie. And, appreciate you coming on and sharing that positivity with us. We're all in a better mood as a result of it.
Yep.
So thank you all you guys for getting on this week. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll see you guys in Miami. All right, let's make it a productive week, guys.
Yeah. See you guys at the meet and greet.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, guys.